welcome back to Hayes on Track. Yeah, things got a bit serious since my last video about coronavirus, but nevertheless, life moves on, so have I. So, got me one of these now. And today, I'm going to be looking at fitting a split charger system. So let's just have a quick look at the setup already, because these Range Rovers and also the Disco 3s are perfectly set up for a nice easy install. So let's have a look. So here is the engine bay. I've got the 4.4 V8 petrol. Right here is my battery. Now if you were looking at this on a US or a European model, something that's left-hand drive, you wouldn't see that there. What you would see is this. And what this is a perfect space for an auxiliary battery. So you can actually see right here and here, you've already got the holes for the battery clamp, and they line up perfectly, and I'll show you that in a minute. So what we've got here is pretty much everything you need to install a second battery, an auxiliary battery, onto your Disco 3 or Range Rover Sport. What we've gone for is the Optima D34, just because it fits perfectly. Now I didn't figure that out, some kind people on the internet have already done this. I'm just making a video because there isn't one. Anyway, the specs on the battery are, yep, got that, which is fine I reckon. It's an AGM battery too, which is good. So the only tools I reckon I'll need are a 30mm spanner for the battery clamps, a 10mm spanner for some of the bolts that I've got, and a 8mm spanner for the battery tie downs and the fuse terminals. These are the cables that I've got. Got these all pre-made kit from Simply Split Charge, which was decent company to deal with. No issues there whatsoever. Everything's come, and even got a load of other little goodies. You know, cover it up. There's the clamps actually, and this is the split charge relay that I've gone for. So you can see, cut in at 13.3 volts, cuts out at 12.65. Now the reason why I've done that is because generally I'm hoping my battery should always be higher than 12.65 volts after a decent run. But what you'll find with the Range Rover Sports is they tan the battery. So there's so many electronics on the Range Rover Sports that even when it's switched off, it's still doing stuff, and it's draining the battery slowly but surely. Now you'll find over time that you start, if you leave your car idle for a bit, not running, you know, just sat there on the drive doing nothing, when you come to start it up you might get some spurious error messages. Now a lot of these HDC fault system inactive is a common one, parking brake errors. I've had both of them, so I replaced my battery with this, a Bosch S5. Got a decent deal from Euro Car Parts, under 150 quid I think it was, with some sort of discount. Really good spec battery. Before, or the battery that it replaced was an S3. You can't get them anymore, so you know that must have lasted a good few years if it's actually obsolete by the time that I'm coming to replace it. And yeah, we're going to augment that with the Optima D34. Sounds nice, doesn't it? I think it's a Subi. So other bits you will need are battery tie down clamp, bracket, whatever you want, and also some of these battery tie down bolts. Now those are all genuine Range Rover parts, or Land Rover parts, sorry. Bolt, battery clamp, battery hold down, bracket. Yeah, I'll put the codes in the description just so they're there for you. I got these online quite easily. You know, I think it was about 20-30 quid for the lot. lot. The only thing is, what you'll find is one of these should be longer. So I'm having to do a bit of an install where I'm going to put one of these little extendo things in. Now if you're going to do this, it needs to be at least 50mm. Otherwise, if you're dead clever, you can find out what the correct part number is and order that. I couldn't find that, and I just did a bit of an internet buy, as you do. The other thing you can do is get some threaded bar. So yeah, M6 threaded bar. I got a wing nut and a little washer. That does work. I almost use that, but I prefer to use the bolt that I've paid for and keep this threaded bar for something else. So yeah, going to do this conversion on a European or US model. What you need is the reverse bracket, which is my factory fitted bracket. So I know you can get these in America. I nearly bought one by mistake from a place in Salt Lake City, I think. But basically what you need is the same part number as what I've already shown you, with an R on the end, and the R is for reverse. So there'll be a bit of miracles of editing with this video, I'm afraid. It's probably going to take me more than a day, because I've already realised that there's a couple of bits that I need for the relay that I haven't actually got, just to clamp it down where I actually want to put it, but I'll show you that in a minute. In relation to the battery, that is where I'm thinking of mounting mine, and I am going to mount it on its side there, because you should be able to see if the resolution is good enough. Right there and there, there's a couple of knockouts for the cables to come out, so they can come out where I want them. And also it means that the bolt hole that's here and on the opposite side are going to go through some nice solid plastic, so I can get a good mount. If I actually turn it 90 degrees, then that bit of plastic there isn't quite as solid. In fact, there is a hole there. But I'm going to mount it the other way, as so. And also, you can see just above the U, there's a little LED there, so I'll be able to see that nice and easily to let me know when the relay's kicked in. I'm assuming it goes green or red. So yeah, that is what I'll be doing. What this will also serve as is a bit of an introductory to split charge wiring. So the first thing that you have is your standard battery, your starting battery. I'm going to take one cable here, I'm going to feed that out of the battery box, and to fuse block number 1, it's not tightened down. I'm going to have that roughly about there, I reckon. So cable in, cable out. This one goes into the other battery box, and we'll go on to the relay we saw before. Once fitted, that'll be doubled over with another cable which comes out here, and that cable will go to another fuse box there, 60 amp fuse. And what I think I'm going to do is spin this battery around, so this positive will be there and this negative will be there. So that's what I've done. So that's coming from the relay into this charger, which I'm going to mount underneath the tie down bracket there. So cable in, cable out. The other cable will go to positive terminal, and then last but not least, can't really see it, blends in with all the black of everything else, there is another earth strap here, so that will go onto the negative terminal of the battery. And then also, like I say, Land Rover have thought about this. You can see there, there's an earth clamp, so I can put my earth directly onto a factory fitted clamp, and that will give me everything I need. Hello again. So if you're joining me, it's day 2. You can see I've actually had a shave. What I'll show you now is why I wanted to mount the battery the way I wanted to mount it. See, I have second guessed myself today and switched it round whilst I was drilling for the relay, but I'll show you what the problem is with that. So as you can see, the negative terminal is now, or would be, touching on the battery clamp, and that's obviously not a good thing. So the original plan will stick. I'm just going to have to slightly adjust what my second guess wiring was going to be. So whilst I've got the battery out for what is hopefully the last time, you can see I've now mounted the relay. It is nice and secure. That's exactly how I said I was going to do it. Bolted on there, you see, nice and secure. So I've done pretty much most of the wiring now, temporary, so we can give it a quick try. Let's show you where we're up to. So as we went into before, I've got my main cable, which is going to go to the positive for the starter. Goes up to my first fuse there, into the second battery box, and to the relay. And then out of the relay comes this little one, onto the second fuse, which then out of that will go to the positive of the auxiliary battery. Then what I've also done is, as I showed you before, I've put my earth strap on. There's also a ground cable going to the relay. Yeah, and then that earth strap there will go onto the terminal. So next time I'll be ready to do my final connections, and then we'll give it a try. So we are all connected up. You'll see now, test my voltage. 12.5 volts. So let's give it a run and see what happens. So I've started it up and it's not on fire, so LCC is maybe not 14 volts. Happy days. Sounds lovely, that engine, done it nice and smooth. So what we're going to do now is take it for a run, see what the battery charges after a quick run, see if it's gone up from that 12.5 volts, and then we're going to make it all look pretty, and I'll show you that afterwards, okay? So after a quick sub 5 mile drive, we are now at 12.92. So that is all good as far as I'm concerned. The LED that you can't see is actually still on, so we've still got connection through to the main battery, so it's doing exactly what it should be doing. So here we go, it's all installed now. Everything's been put into the protective covering, as you can see there. I have actually had to replace that crimp for a bigger one, and then yeah, into that first fuse box, cable tied there, into the second battery. There's a little bit of redundant cable there which is just looped over, and this second fuse isn't actually tied down, but I think if I ever need to do anything it's better not to be tied down. And then yeah, see everything's nicely installed there, down to the earth there with the new crimp on for the relay cable, which again I've not tied that down because it just doesn't seem like it's worth it, to be honest. It's not going to give me any benefit whatsoever from cable tying that to anything. So there you go folks, all done. I think it looks about as factory as it needs to be. Thanks for watching.